Hello and welcome to the Change Gang podcast with me, your host, Laura Ordile. I'm here to help you hold on to your sanity and your soul as you move through big change. I'm here to guide you from frustration to flow in your life, bridging the practical and the woo, just for you. Let's go. Welcome to the Week Change Gang. I have a very fun guest here today. I have Ashleigh Harrison with me, and Ashleigh's a mindset and business mentor and is certified in Neuro-linguistic Programming, Reiki and Nutrition. She started her coaching back in 2020, an auspicious year. One you'll always remember, I'm sure. And she's on a mission to help ambitious women with big hearts and even bigger dreams build the dreamiest business alongside a beautiful life through mindset, business energetics, and simple strategies. I love simple. She's the host of her very own personal development podcast called She Shifts and coaches women worldwide in her private one-to-one mentorship and various group programs. Welcome, Ashleigh. Thanks for being here with me today.
Thank you so much, Laura. I'm really excited for today's chat.
Yay! And you're all the way on the other side of the world from me, actually. You're in Cape Town, isn't that right?
Yes, Cape Town, South Africa, all the way on the other side of the world.
And I know you posted not too long ago about how you did a lot of traveling and ended up back there because that's one of your favorite places. What's one of the things you love most about being there?
I think it's how there's so much you can do in a span of 10 kilometers. We've got the mountains, we've got the beach, we've got the city. So it really allows you to just experience everything in one spot.
Ashleigh, you deal with a lot of different things for people, and I love some of the things that you teach. One of them is how to navigate change as you enter the new level of life or business or anything in life. And I'd love for you to share a few things about how to do that in a really smooth way, because sometimes it can be really challenging and difficult or you get stuck. So share with us some of your best tips on getting through those things.
Absolutely. And I love that question so much. It's the whole thing about change is we have to choose it. And I think that's where the process becomes the smoothest, is sometimes change happens to us. And when change happens to us unexpectedly, it can really rock our boat. And you'll have to have various tools to know how to navigate that versus choosing to change. Because choosing to change, you're accepting that something is going to be different. And it makes it a little bit smoother of a process as you know that you are accepting this change and the challenges that come along with that. Not everything has to be challenging when you choose change. But I think knowing how to navigate change, whether it's a rocky change that's come unexpectedly, I know something that happened to me is my anxiety came out of the blue, like out of nowhere. One day I had it, like the next day I did. Well, one day I didn't, the next day I did. So sometimes we get thrown into change and sometimes we choose change. And I think how to navigate the two is when we are choosing change, there we seem to have a lot more control over the process and being a bit more conscious over what is going to happen. And because we're choosing the change, we're choosing to take different action, which allows that change to be created. So I suppose there it's all about navigating how do you want this change to look? What are the exact action steps you need to take? So if it's, for example, health-wise, then it would be looking at do you need to prep your meals? Do you need to go to the gym? Should you buy some gym clothes? It's like navigating that change with sort of almost a plan and a routine and how this change is going to look different for you. Versus if you get unexpected change, something that happens to you unexpectedly, that's when I would say most of the stuff you should be focusing on is the internal work. So that for me would look like a lot of meditating, asking yourself questions, giving yourself space, compassion, to allow this change that's happening to realize what is the gift in this experience. I think with any change, especially the unexpected change, looking for the gift and how this is helping you, even though in the moment you cannot see that, but choosing to see it differently will help you navigate the change and make it a lot easier.
Yes, I agree completely. And I think one of the things people don't realize or they forget, we just forget because we get so into our daily thing, but change is happening every single day. there's something that's going on, something that's changing, and you're either directing that change and choosing which way you want to change, or you're just letting it happen. And I think that's where people get frustrated, is they're like, life's not changing. It kind of is. It's just not changing in the way you want it to. So start choosing the change that you want. I think that's a great way to put that. So how do you help people when they say, I don't know what to choose, or I'm stuck and I think I know which way I want to go, but I can't get moving?
I love this question because you're actually asking this question to one of the most indecisive people ever. For me, I've always been someone who's had a difficult time making decisions because I want it all, but a part of me doesn't want to make the wrong choice. And I think that's where the first sign is that if you're not sure how to get started, or you're like, I don't know which way to go, chances are you do, but you either don't want to make the right choice, or you're not really listening to the choice that is right for you because you're getting your head involved in the decision. For me, one of the clear signs when making a decision is, how does it make me feel? Do I feel lit up, excited, like, yes, I really want to do this? Or does it feel like really resistance-y, but I'm trying to convince myself I need to make this change, to make this step because it's safe, or it makes logical sense? And I think it's so tough as so many people try and speak their way or talk their way into making a choice, when truthfully, if they have to ask themselves, is this really the right choice for me? The answer would more than likely be no. So someone who's very indecisive, it does take me a while to know what is the right move for me to make, but when I don't overthink it, I usually end up making the move that's the best for me.
Well, one of the things I'd love to, I'm so glad you said this, because you reignited me in one of the things that I love to do, and I had kind of let go by the wayside. But on one of your She Shift podcasts, you talked about signs, using signs to come in. And I'm like, gosh, I haven't done that in a while. And I did it, and it was perfect. It happens, as it always does, in unexpected ways. And they always make me laugh. The universe just is crazy amazing when it does that. But you talk all about how to use signs to kind of guide you. So share a little bit, because I love some of the things you said in there about choosing one or choosing two, depending on what you're kind of looking about. So share for a moment with us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is something that I think, because I'm so indecisive, I've always needed help from an external factor, and I usually turn to the universe. And how this process looks is, I like to ask the universe, let's say, for example, I've got a big business decision to make. And I'll ask the universe, if I'm meant to do this, show me a sign of a white feather. And if I'm meant to do this, show me the sign of a grasshopper. And what happens is, after you ask that, whatever you get shown is the decision you're meant to make, but you cannot force the decision to be made. So you can't go and look for a white feather or go look for a grasshopper. You have to let it come to you. And the funniest thing I've ever had is that I asked a similar question with the same signs, and I was scrolling through Instagram. I don't actually usually do it, which is even why it was more weird. And I was scrolling and I was looking through a reel, and in this girl's reel, she was dancing, and this white feather floated around in the background and landed. And I was like, and it was just so like, she was just dancing in her room and in her house, and this white feather happened to me. And I was like, this is crazy. It's a white feather in someone's reel video. I never scroll. Like, this is what I'm seeing. And I was like, okay, this is a sign for me. Another huge sign I had was when I was a nutritionist and I had very bad anxiety. I was told that I was a vegan at the time as well, and I was told I needed to start eating meat again. And a huge part of me resisted that because it wasn't who I was. It wasn't who I was meant. There was a lot of identity stuff around choosing to be a vegan. And I remember driving home and I was like, please, if I'm meant to eat meat again because it's going to help me health-wise, please send me a sign. And these two beautiful big birds of prey shot up immediately after I asked that question and just flew in front of me. I was like, okay, this is it. I'm done. Because I love birds and I know that they're always sending some sort of sign. So I think truthfully, it's when it's so hard because obviously when I'm a big overthinker. So sometimes I do need that external universal, please just show me the sign and I will accept the sign you're giving me rather than me trying to convince myself. So how people can use that is, I like to give options. Show me a sign of X if I must do this. Show me a sign of, Y if I must do that. Because if you don't get a sign, then you almost like, okay, what's happening? Did I ask the question wrong? Did it not work out? So, for example, if you see a sign of a white feather or see a grasshopper and you don't see either, and I'd give it about 24 to 48 hours if you've asked for a sign. If you don't see either, then I think it would be either rephrase the question or make it more clear, and so you can still choose the same things, but it's just almost, if you're vague and you say, I know I got the two birds, but sometimes if you ask, show me a sign that I should do this, you don't know what that sign is. Like, is it per chance that you stumbled upon this? Was that the actual sign you were meant to see? So I think it's always helpful to give those options, that when you do see a white feather, you do see a grasshopper, and you've asked that question, you've asked to see those signs, that is the universe giving you that answer.
Absolutely. But I think like with those two birds too, I think you just have that flutter inside and that's my sign. That's exactly it. I think with birds too, birds are a lot of my signs that come in, and sometimes it's just a little reminder for me. A little bluebird will come and it's like, ooh, something good is really going to be, just because somehow that became something in my life where that's what it was. And we have big eagles that fly around too. And, when I see those, it's just like, wow, I know something there's a message for me, or there's something that's there. But I think, inside of you, when you start using those signs, when something comes up, it's like, oh, that's it. That's my sign. That's wonderful. And I've had some funny ones too. The universe, it does just kind of have that sense of humor that's in there. And it is very unexpected. I had to make a choice, and I had an either or sign at one point. And I said, mine was a purple feather. I wanted something slightly different because it was like, I really need to know this is the right thing. And I said, and I don't want to, I think I gave, I always tend to give a little stipulation. I didn't want it to be something. I said it has to be very much this, this version of a purple feather or something. And it was hilarious because I was going along my day and I got an email from, another intuitive or another something, and it said something about signs. And I was like, oh, well, let's see what she has to say about signs. And so I opened it up and I'm reading it. And she's talking about ducks and these other things. And then it all goes into, and then I asked for this purple feather. And a picture pops up and I was like, no freaking way. And I just had to laugh so hard. I'm like, okay, thank you. Thanks. You don't know. And I had another one come up one time on Facebook the same way. And it was hilarious because the picture, when it ended up popping up at one point with specifically what I said on it, had to have certain thing on it. It popped up and it said, don't take yourself so seriously. I was like, okay, all right. Because I was very intense. I was really at a point where I was frustrated and upset. And I'm like, I need a sign right now. And it has to be this. And it has to be this. And it was, come on, calm down, Laura.
Come in the most unexpected ways. It's not, if you want to see a feather, it doesn't mean you're going to actually see a feather, like a physical, tangible on the ground, which I think that's why when you ask for signs, it's good to be open to the sign coming in any form, because you'll know when it's a sign.
Yeah, that's so true. And I think when you ask some of those too, some people might say, well, yeah, but you really want one of those answers, so you're going to draw that to you. And it's like, maybe a little bit, but I think if it's really not right for you, your subconscious knows, and it's going to draw the correct answer to you. Conscious is connected to the universe. They're in conjunction with each other. They're going to know what is really good for you when you're stepping up and asking, and it's going to bring that right answer. It's going to bring that right answer to you. One of the things that we have in common, we're mindset mentors, coaches in there, and NLP we have in common. So in just probably a couple of minutes, maybe tell me a little bit about why you chose NLP and how you use it in the work that you do.
Good question. So the reason I chose NLP is it's because it's actually when I hired a mindset coach for my own business, she specialized in NLP, and the work we did together was so profound that I knew it's exactly the tools and knowledge and techniques that I wanted to share with others. And how that looks in my business is obviously a lot of the time it's very different and unique to the person, because some people are more visual, some people are more audio, Some people are more feelers. So I've managed to take what I've learned, but also adapt it to what suits the person. And a lot of that obviously looks like shifting your perspective on things, for me, the biggest one which has helped a lot of my clients, is getting to a core memory, which has created a disempowering belief that you've been carrying through your entire life. And when we get to that memory, that very moment that you decided something about yourself, or you decided something about money, relationships, career, we are easily able to abstract the belief and then show you basically know exactly what I was saying. So abstract the belief and show how it holds no belief, and how just from the situation that happened, you created the story, and now you're like, why did I even create that? I can see the picture differently.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? It's so crazy that, and you don't even know sometimes, because sometimes it happened when you were tiny, a little person, and your parents brought that belief into your life, and you've carried that with you for the duration, and it's just the way it is. But one of the things I love about NLP is it's almost instantaneous that the change happens. And so when you're dealing with people who have fears or phobias or feelings about that situation, and it's very prominent for them, when you're working with NLP, you go in and it's crazy how it just clears and resets everything. And I love that. I think it's wonderful that we get to work with our brain in such a wonderful way when you just know, and you can go in and have that conversation with it. I think it's amazing. So I'm glad that you bring that in and share that with people too, and do adjust it to the individual, which is crazy important too. We're not all the same, and we need a little bit something different. Well, thank you, Ashleigh, so much for hanging in there with me today and having the conversation. And I'd love to have another chat with you. So I hope to do that and be able to share that with everyone. Tell us right now for a moment, a couple of places that they can find you and come have some conversation with you.
Absolutely. I would love that. We'd love to chat and connect more with any of the listeners who are interested in the signs, the subconscious mind, all of that. So you can find me on Instagram at It's Ashleigh Camilla. My Ashleigh is ASHLEIGH, so that's how you spell my version, but I believe there'll be links underneath, so it'll be easier for you to connect. And then I also have my website is ashleighcamilla.com.
That's great. Thank you so much. All right, Change Gang, thanks for being here. I hope that you go into the week and have a wonderful one, and I will meet you right here, same time next week.
I hope today's episode was interesting to you in some way and fun. If so, hey, find someone to share it with. Maybe they need to hear it too, or maybe they'll just enjoy it. If you'd like, go ahead and grab my tips on supercharging your success. It includes a free short meditation to do just that. You can find that at bit.ly/supercharge your success. Until next time, happy day.